Drinks to you guys. No. Here to do my review for Dunkirk. I want to talk about this quite a bit because I feel like there's a lot of things that need to be said about this. And I'm being a Christopher Nolan fanboy. I allow this to be when Star Wars comes up and when Christopher Nolan comes up. Just expect the reviews to be a little bit longer. For those of you that may want a quick review, I will say I really enjoyed the movie, and I definitely recommend going and seeing it. If you can, go see it in IMAX. With that being said, let's jump into things. I understand why a lot of people came out of this movie not really enjoying it that much and having a hard time connecting. But I disagree with the idea that this movie is a bad movie at all. I'm a firm... because there's a difference between you not liking a movie or you not getting it and a movie genuinely being a bad movie. Dunkirk in no way, shape, or form is a bad movie. In fact, I think Dunkirk is exactly what Christopher Nolan intended it being. I feel like it's just another movie to prove how visually and just he's a visionary, just how much of a visionary he is and how he plays with the different movie tropes and things that you have come to expect from watching years and years and years of movies. For instance, this movie does not have characters. When you hear people say that there wasn't really a person for you to grab onto, they're not lying. There's not characters. This movie has faces. That's what I would say. This movie has faces. There are some known actors of the movie. There's like 5, maybe 6. Everybody else in this movie is not anybody that you would really know. At least not that I know. Kenneth Branagh's in there, Cillian Murphy, Tom Hardy, just to name a few. But all of them have pretty much an equal amount of screen time. None of them have more screen time, much more screen time than the others. And the whole movie, because, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me say this. The general movie formula is you have characters, you have a main character, maybe a villain, but you've got, plot, story, beginning, middle, and everything like that. Whereas Dunkirk is very much a set piece, and while there is a beginning, middle, and end, there's not really much of a plot other than get these guys off of this shoreline or beach or wherever they're at. I mean, that is what this movie is about. And so we're getting into spoilers territory, so at your own discretion. But the movie starts you off with one face in particular, and then shortly after you're introduced to face number 2, and it's really these 2 characters that you really follow for the majority of the movie. But while there may have been names mentioned, you don't really get a names because it's not about that. This movie is not about one character's journey. This character is about every single soldier that is there trying to get off the island and get back home. Another part of the movie, or section of the movie, if you will, is there's Mark Rylance's character. Him and I believe his son and another boy go out to, because it's been requested that civilian ships go out to help bring them home. And so he's somebody that goes out, the 3 of them go out to save people. And then you have the soldiers on the beach, you have the guy on the boat, and then you have the dogfight. You have the planes. That's where Tom Hardy is at. And you know, something that I really liked about the movie is, you know, especially if you've watched Inception, you know, Nolan's ability to play with time and your perception of time and how things all kind of correlate together. And he did this really with Memento too, and even aspects of The Dark Knight Rises. You know, because it starts out, you know, and it says the mole, and it says, you know, 1 week, and then it comes up, you know, and then there's another part where it comes up, you know, when it starts showing the guy and his boat, it says something else, and it says, I think, like, you know, another amount of time, I forget, like, you know, 3 hours or something like that. And then you have the planes, and it has an hour, you know, 1 hour. And so, you know, he sets up all of these different moving parts, but not all of them are happening at the same time. You know, when you watch a general movie, you know, it's pretty linear, whereas with this movie, he's telling different parts of the story that's happening, but they're not all happening at the same time. And I think maybe that was confusing, for on top of not having somebody to cling to. You also throw in this play on time, and it's confusing, you know. And I believe the same people coming out of Dunkirk that didn't like it are the same people that walked out of Interstellar for not liking it, because a lot of people went into Interstellar thinking that it's a space movie. It was marketed as a space movie, which I don't think you really could have marketed as anything other than that. But Nolan uses, in an Interstellar, he uses space as the tool to tell a story about time and relativity. So the movie is and isn't about space, but it is most definitely about time. And if you go into it with those goggles, Interstellar makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm not even going to try to explain the very ending of that movie. That's a whole video on its own. But Dunkirk is, I think, what Nolan did for war movies. Just his ability to put you right in the middle of everything that's happening and make you feel for these soldiers. And it was an absolute, just, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I mean, just anxiety left and right. I had no idea what was going to happen. So, yeah, I loved the movie. I can't recommend it enough, especially if you enjoy war movies. If you have the money to spend it to see it in IMAX. I did not get to see it in IMAX, but I can tell you from watching the movie that this is definitely one to catch in IMAX. My rating for the movie would be 10 out of 10. And I know people are going to say, oh, you Nolan fanboy, and yeah, I am, but you know, Nolan hasn't let me down yet. With every movie, I've seen every single movie of his in theaters since The Prestige, you know, and I haven't been let down by a single one of his movies. So, you know, that's why he's one of the best, you know. I don't think if there's anything else I want to say. It definitely leaves you on a somber note. You know, this movie does and doesn't have a happy ending, you know. Especially, you know, like, I really understand why everybody comes out saying Tom Hardy is their favorite character. For me, I didn't like one character more than I did another, you know. I mean, if you ask me who the best character in the movie was, I mean, I'd probably say Tom Hardy too. But the story that I actually connected with the most was the 17-year-old kid on the boat, on the civilian boat. Like, that whole scenario just broke my heart, you know. But it's a very, very good movie. Will definitely be in my collection. So yeah, I think that's it. So if you've seen Dunkirk, let me know what you thought down in the comments. If you haven't, or are you gonna go see it? And if you do go see it, come back and let's talk about it. I'd love to hear your opinion on it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.